Yep. Inside, I want to kill myself. We are on an 0-7 run over the last 2 days. After tonight was just complete bullshit. So that's how I'm going to start off this show. Horrible Sunday, 1-5. I don't even know what to tell you about that. I just don't want to do this anymore. I have never seen anything like this, man. With the slump continuing, 2 straight losses, not a good day at all. 0-4. I just have not had a good season, man. What kind of slump that I'm on? The slump continues. I've reached a new peak, actually. I'm going to burn my Bruins hat, man. I don't know what is going on with the Bruins. March 8th, is that what it is? I don't even know. It's March 9th, I think. Who even knows, man? I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Back with you after the worst day that I could possibly have. Back with you, as I always am. Until I die, at least. 0-2 yesterday, and yesterday did not go well for me. 0-5. The worst month that I've ever had in my 18 years doing this. I don't know what to even tell you about this anymore. Broke the slump yesterday as the slump discontinues. The slump continues. Somebody fucking kill me, please. I don't even know what I should do at this point other than potentially end it all. What's up, everybody? It's Toad back with you. Toad Stool Sports. NFL Week 16 edition. We're already 0-1 on the NFL just because of a half point with the Seattle Seahawks on Thursday. Mr. Thursday night, not getting it done on that one. Deserved to be a worse loser, though. Fuck the Bears. The Bears are ass. Did not have a play on that game, but there's no fucking way that the Bears should have won that game. Dude, it took Jordan Love getting injured in the middle of the game, and then the Bears having to recover an onside kick, at which point they had no touchdowns in the entire game, and then they had to get that touchdown. Then Green Bay was driving in overtime, and Green Bay had to turn the ball over on downs in this case. It took all of that to happen for the Bears to actually win that game. Absolute ass. Dude, the Bears, the meltdown that the Bears are gonna have is just gonna be ridiculous. Like, this team is so bad. So bad. I could not believe that. They had no business winning that game at all. I'm pissed about it because I lost a pick on it in my pick'ems. I mean, it wasn't in my my pick 5 or whatever. Like, I'm gonna have my 3 plays that I'm going to give out on this show for tomorrow, plus one additional one, are going to make my board, or make my pick 5, I guess. Charles, what's up? Yes, thank you, sir. We're on like a 13-day winning streak or something here. Mr. Pinsey, what's up? Yes, sir. You played the Packers? It's such fucking bullshit, dude. They're winning the game 16-6 with like less than 2 minutes to go. Such fucking bullshit. Yeah, I saw that. The Green Bay had a backup center and the backup quarterback in at that point. Both guys were injured. The center and the quarterback were both injured. So that's what happened in that game. They couldn't kick it because they were kicking into the wind, so they had to go for it. Yeah, the Bears are so fucking bad, dude. I don't even know who the Bears are playing next week, but we're going to fade them most likely. Let's get into today. I'm hoping to go 6-0 or whatever with the plays today, man. 5-1 is still good. We got some huge underdog wins today as well, so whatever. Let's get into tomorrow. NFL. I have a headache. My head fucking kills right now. I might have to take this Toad hat off. I'll take the headphones off at least. I don't know, because I haven't shaved my head, so I'm trying to cover it up with my hat here. That's how you know that I haven't shaved my head recently, is because I have a hat on. This is my Frog and Toad hat. Let's just get into this board, man. Like, I'm bored. Let's do it. First game up will be not happy from the 4th on. They should have won the game. The game was fucking over. It was 16-6 with 2 minutes to go. All you have to do is recover a fucking onside kick. Up 16-9. Kraken, yeah, good. Dirty Sock, what's up? Yeah. Let's get it done, man. The Kraken were winning 1-0 earlier. All right. We'll go in order of the board, except I will talk about the Sunday night game last because that got flexed into the Sunday night game because it's a better game than whatever ass game was going to be scheduled initially for that, which I guess it was Bengals-Dolphins, apparently, because that's the rotation order there. Yeah, Bengals-Dolphins was going to be the night game. Isn't that just great? First game on the board is Bills-Browns. This is very close to making my card, dude. It's not on my card. This is the first one I'm leaving off of my card. You know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say take the Browns plus the points here. And I know absolutely nobody's going to be playing the Browns here. We just saw what the Bills did. The Bills just made an epic comeback against the Patriots. They were down 21-0 in New England. We had the win on that on my show with the Bills. Bills dominated the rest of the game pretty much. Won the game. Huge win for the Bills. They're up to a 10.5-point favorite here, and they're massively public. 91% of the tickets, 93% of the cash on them. Low total of 41.5. The Browns play better at home, and they have a good defense, so better defense, getting points at home. The only way that you can play this is to take the points of the Browns. It's just a question of whether or not you do actually want to play it. There's no way that you can lay points in this game. It also looks kind of similar to that Buffalo-Houston situation where we had Houston on the show, except that was, I mean, Houston's better than Cleveland, obviously, and that was a primetime game, so it's a little bit different, but like situation where you're looking at the better defense getting points at home. Of course, Cleveland's getting a ton more points here. Now, this is a sandwich spot for Buffalo because not only are they coming off that huge game against New England, which kept Buffalo in the division race technically, but after this, they got Philadelphia on Fox next week. That's a big game because it's the Super Bowl champs, Philadelphia. So this is a sandwich spot. It's a second straight road game. Not only that, but it's actually Buffalo playing a fourth road game in 5 weeks, it looks like here, because their bye was long ago. So that's not easy to do either. Cleveland, you're going to have to rely on Shedeur Sanders not making a ton of mistakes. I mean, that's the one thing, but nobody's going to want Cleveland after they lost to the Titans, and then they got blown out by Chicago last week. But really, this was a lot of like Shedeur Sanders mistakes in this game. I think he had 3 turnovers in the game, or at least Cleveland had 3 turnovers in the game. And yeah, the Bears did completely outgain them too, but the final score was worse than, I mean, the final score made it look worse than the game actually was. Again, Cleveland is better at home, at least 2-5 at home, baby. But they cover more of the numbers at home as well. So the only way that I could see playing it is Cleveland. Should they get up for a game against Buffalo? I think so. I mean, Cleveland, really, their Super Bowl is probably going to be next week against Pittsburgh, though. So that's kind of my hesitation here. Like, Cleveland is always going to get up for that final home game against Pittsburgh. But I still think they're going to try to show up against Buffalo as well. So, yeah, I would take the points. You're getting extra points here. Again, the 9 was the look ahead as well. This opener really was the look ahead a week before that. So you're seeing, based on last week, the Bills are through that key number of 10 now for no other reason, basically. So, yeah, you got to take the points of the Browns if you're going to play that one. Yeah, I told you that Sixers song is a banger, yeah. First time I heard it was Toucher and Rich, Boston Sports Radio. They were making fun of it when the Celtics were playing the Sixers in the playoffs long, long ago. Seems like the Celtics play the Sixers in the playoffs all the time, though.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game.
I want to get this thing done, man, because my head is killing me. Next game up, oh, this is an awesome one. Jets Saints. Oh, yeah, best game of the day right here. The look ahead on this was 2.5, and now the line is 6.5. Like, the Saints are almost a 7-point favorite here. Like, come on, man. Are you seriously? Dude, the Saints, they should not be a touchdown favorite against anybody. Just come on, man. The only way that you can play this game is to take the points with the Jets. I'm not going to do it, but come on. It's the total's 40.5. It's a low total. Saints are public. When does that ever happen? 74% of tickets, 87% of the cash on them. Absolutely ridiculous. The Saints have not been more than a 2-point favorite all season, and that was against the Falcons at New Orleans, and New Orleans lost that game. And the only other time they were a favorite, I think they were like a 1-point favorite in a really good spot against the Giants. And we had a winner on that one, actually, on the show with the Saints in that one. But come on, man. The Saints are now 5 points heavier, 5-point heavier favorite than they have been all season. This line is just ridiculous. It's out of control. The 2.5, I guess, was before we saw what the Jets looked like with Brady Cook, I think is who their quarterback is now, in his debut. So I guess the Jets are going to be going with Brady Cook again here, and that's kind of why the line is where it is. So you get two rookie quarterbacks facing off here between Cook and Shuck, if that's how you pronounce his name. Fuck, Shuck, Cuck, I have no idea. I was calling him Shug. I have no idea how you pronounce that guy's name. But, yeah, I mean, Shuck actually hasn't been that bad for the Saints, but for the Jets, I mean, you got to think that the rookie Cook, he's going to do better in his second game now that he has one game under his belt. I mean, the Jets were just horrific last week, man. They lost 48-20. I mean, they did put up 20 points, which isn't that bad. So really it was kind of the defense was kind of a problem against the Jags here. They got lit up by Trevor Lawrence in this game. Yeah, I mean, the Jets did get outgained massively, but they were also -2 in turnovers. I expect the Jets to do a little bit better here. I mean, step way down in class to face the Saints. Saints are also, I think they're in a bad spot because look at what the Saints did the last 2 weeks. They beat Tampa Bay and Carolina, so they beat both teams that are fighting for the division crown here. Those are both huge wins for the Saints. And you know, I keep talking about it, like, a team that's not going anywhere like the Saints, what are the types of games they're going to get up for? Well, they're going to get up for division games so they can play spoiler, and that's what they did the last 2 weeks. So they spoiled the party for both teams, even spoilers, to spoil it for both Tampa and Carolina, so it all evens out, even Steven. Now, it is their final home game, so that is maybe a little bit of a motivator for the Saints to play well in their final home game, but other than that, I mean, the line value is on the Jets in this one. I mean, there's no way that you can lay the points to the Saints here, man. So that's what I'll say about that. Vikings-Giants I'll come back to because that is one of my plays. I love it. Love it. And then we'll skip the Patriots-Ravens for now until the end because I'll talk about it as a Sunday night game. Buccaneers-Panthers, baby. One of the best games on the board here. This is going to go a long way to determining who gets into the playoffs out of the awful NFC South. One of these teams has to get in. It would be really absurd if it was the Panthers, to be honest. The Panthers are bad, dude. The odds makers are telling you who's the better team here, with the Buccaneers being a 3-point road favorite now. 57% of tickets, 62% of the cash. The public doesn't even really seem to love the Buccaneers at this point because they've looked so bad recently. But they're still better than the Panthers, dude. And come on, Tampa Bay has more experience in meaningful games like this. I mean, you're still talking about Baker Mayfield. You're still talking about a guy who's been in the playoffs, whatever. I'm not going to play Jim Mora again here, but, you know, Carolina does not have experience here. Tampa Bay, they have extra rest as well, and they're coming off that ugly loss at home to the Atlanta Falcons where Tampa probably should have won that game. They're winning by 14 in the fourth quarter. I know I gave out Atlanta as a lean in that game, and of course it wound up being correct, but Tampa, bad ending to that game. Now they have extra time off. They're trying to bounce back from 2 losses now, and they've actually lost 5 of their last 6 games, but the first 3 of them were to New England, Buffalo, and the Rams. I mean, come on. So you can't really blame them for those losses, really. The game against New England was really close as well in Tampa. But, yeah, I kind of like Tampa in this one, man. Carolina, they're also coming off an ugly loss, though, at New Orleans, and that was a sandwich spot, really. I pointed that out last week. I said you got to lean to New Orleans, even though it was kind of a divisional revenge spot for Carolina. Carolina hilariously has lost both games to New Orleans this year, but that was a bad spot for them, man. I just thought it was a bad spot for both teams because New Orleans had upset Tampa Bay the game before that, but Carolina had pulled off that crazy upset of the Rams, and they had this monster game against Tampa Bay on deck, so explainable why they lost that game to New Orleans. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one, but I think I would lean to the Bucs. Again, the better team, the more experienced team for now. We'll see what the market read looks like tomorrow on that one, though. Chiefs-Titans, oh boy. Before everything went wrong for the Chiefs, and by the way, Rashee Rice is now hurt as well after getting beat up last week, so my fantasy team is completely fucked, so isn't that just great? I get the 1 seed, and now I have no Mahomes, I have no Rice. Jonathan Taylor has a shit quarterback now. Fuck, just come on. I am so fucking pissed, dude. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I can't believe that. I had a great fantasy season, and now all this shit happens. Come on. And I lost Sam Laporta late into the season, too. So that's just fucking great. But yeah, the Chiefs, before Mahomes' injury, the Chiefs are going to be an 11-point favorite in this game. Now they're a 2.5-point favorite. Now, is that an over-adjustment? I mean, probably. I mean, Gardner Minshew is going to be the quarterback for the Chiefs. He's got a lot of experience, but there's a lot of moving parts in this game, man. So, yeah, I think there is some line value on the Chiefs with that line having moved whatever that is. I mean, 8 points. Is that really an 8-point drop-off from Mahomes to Minshew? I'm not sure that it is. I don't think there's really an 8-point drop-off between like any set of quarterbacks, really, unless it's the most extreme situation that you could think of. We're looking at a really low total in this game, though, of 37.5. So taking the points does kind of make sense in that regard. The money does look like it is on the Titans. 52% of tickets on the Chiefs, 67% of the cash on the Titans. Now, you have to figure out what you think about the situation here because, yeah, it's an injured player theory spot for the Chiefs, right? So you might think the Chiefs might show up and play, like, are they going to just abandon Minshew and just pack it in on the season? I don't know. I mean, I kind of think that they won't because, the injured player spot, usually the team gets up for it. Oh, we have to play hard without our injured player. But then, of course, you have to contrast that with the fact that this is a dream crusher spot. The Chiefs are eliminated from the playoffs, even though most power ratings guys had them as like the 6th best team in football, with Mahomes and Rice there. And now the Chiefs, they have not missed the playoffs for like 6 years. So how are the Chiefs going to respond to this being the first time in 6 years that they are dream crushed and they don't make the playoffs? I don't know, man. I mean, it looks like the money is fading the Chiefs for that reason because it is the dream crusher, even though it seems like the public is kind of that mindset that the Chiefs are dead as well. But the public is not going to play the Titans, dude. They're just not going to do it. So, I mean, I think it's mostly professional money coming in on the Titans. I mean, oh, God. I mean, I kind of lean towards taking the points of the Titans. I think the Titans, I mean, they'll try to show up for it. I mean, you get to play a game against the Chiefs that have been so good for so long. Titans are coming back from the Pacific Coast, though, which isn't that easy. They went out to San Francisco, and they kind of played respectably, only losing by 13 points. So I think they actually covered some of the numbers there. I think it was 13.5 out there in some of the games and whatever. So they actually covered the number for some people in that game. I don't know, man. I mean, this is a game I'm obviously completely avoiding, but the money looks like it is saying the Titans here. I don't really want to disagree with that much of a market read there. All right, Chargers-Cowboys is going to be one of my plays, so I'll hold that. Falcons-Cardinals is also Cardinals, Chargers. That's going to be one of my plays as well, so I'll hold that till the end. We're in the 4 p.m. slate now here. Oh, actually, let me jump down to Bengals-Dolphins, which is now in the 1 p.m. slate, so I'll do that one now. This game, I mean, things are getting a little bit ridiculous here. Bengals are up to a 4-point favorite here from what was going to be a pick'em, although I think they were probably going to be about a 1, maybe 2-point favorite here. But now the line has moved further because the Dolphins benched Tua, which, is that the right move? I don't know, man, because I talked about how bad Tua is in freezing weather, and that's what just happened. The Dolphins were just a completely lifeless team on Monday night, and everybody saw that game. Well, at least the people that can still watch Monday Night Football, I guess. But Tua is awful in freezing temperatures, dude. I mentioned that. I kind of leaned to the Dolphins in that game just based on the situation, but I couldn't do it because Tua is just awful in freezing temps. I think he's now 0-6, both straight up and against the spread in freezing temperatures. Dolphins didn't even show up. But now because of that, they benched Tua. Now they're going to see what they have with Quinn Ewers. Ewers Tagovailoa, I guess. He's going to be the quarterback here, so the odds makers are not respecting that. And they've moved the line to the 4-point favorite with the Bengals, who are still going with Joe Burrow, I'm pretty sure here. I mean, he's not injured, so I guess they're going to let him play out the stretch here, even though the Bengals are dead. Both of these teams are dead. But the Dolphins are on a short week because they played on Monday, but a lot of times I kind of want to look towards the team that looked bad on Monday night because everybody saw them look awful. So there's usually some value in playing that team next week, but I don't know, man. I mean, these rookies in their debut tend to not do that well, even though I did play Jackson Dart's debut because I actually thought he was going to be good. And we got the win on that one, the outright win against the Chargers. But for guys like Brady Cook last week, I mean, I did lean that way, but he was awful. Quinn Ewers, I don't think he's going to be any good, man. So I worry about this. And the Bengals, the one thing the Bengals have going for them is they're coming off getting shut out by the Ravens. And teams, after being shut out in the NFL this season, are now 5-0 against the spread the next week, and they're 4-1 straight up as well. So that's a good indicator with Cincinnati here. Although the one caveat, or actually no, I think they're just 5-0 against the spread, right? Because usually those teams are going to be underdogs, right? So I don't know what I'm saying. They're 5-0 against the spread, though. But I think the one caveat here is that the Bengals are going to be the biggest favorite of the season in that situation, coming off of a shutout loss. But teams tend to do well after a shutout loss, man. They tend to focus because it's just embarrassing to get shut out. The Bengals were awful in that game against the Ravens. Joe Burrow looked like he was almost intentionally throwing interceptions in that game. So I don't know. In that respect, I could see maybe leaning towards the Bengals here. Miami on a short week. But both teams looked so bad last week. But then again, I don't want to trust a rookie QB here either. But at least with the rookie QB, maybe the Dolphins will get fired up for it. But then again, the Dolphins were, I think, alive in the playoff race maybe until they took that loss on Monday night. I'm not sure about it. Maybe they weren't, actually, because for the AFC, you're going to have a pretty good record. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Dolphins were not alive. But whatever. I mean, this is a hard game to read, man. 73% of tickets, 76% of the cash on the Bengals. It's a fairly high total of 48.5. I mean, I don't know. I don't really love laying points on the road, though, man. But that shutout, coming off a shutout trend is pretty strong. So maybe you got to lean to the Bengals for that reason. Of course, I'm not going to give this out as a play. And in like the ESPN pick'ems and whatever, the Bengals are like a 1-point favorite in those games. So I think, if you're getting a line like that in like a pick'em game, take the Bengals to just win the game. But I mean, I don't know about laying 4 points, man. I might start kind of leaning in the other direction, that being the case. All right, the 4 p.m. games here that are not the ones on there's only one on my card, but Jags-Broncos is an interesting one. The Broncos are up to a 3.5-point favorite here. 60% of the tickets and 64% of the cash on the Broncos. I kind of lean in the other direction, man. I mean, the Broncos, I know they've been good at home and they have that mile-high advantage here, but the Broncos don't need this game as much as the Jaguars do, and the Jaguars are getting points here. And I think the Broncos may be a little bit overvalued right now, man, which is crazy to think about because the Jags have been scoring so many points recently. Like, this is a team that scored 36 and then 48 in their last 2 games, and you're telling me that the market is actually undervaluing them? I think that is the case because the Broncos keep winning. But remember, I keep saying the Broncos have faced a weak schedule. I still don't think their offense is very good, so they're not really great as a favorite. They win a lot of close games, the Broncos do, man. And again, the Broncos have a lot of padding right now. And the Broncos are coming off another nice win against Green Bay where they probably shouldn't have won that game. I mean, Green Bay was winning that game by 9 and marching down the field again, and then they turned the ball over, and Denver wound up going the other way, getting a touchdown on it, which completely swung the game. So maybe a little bit misleading in that respect. And Denver does have Kansas City on a short turnaround. They have to play Kansas City on Thursday night. On Christmas, actually, as part of the Christmas slate. So I know Kansas City's out of it, but you know that's a big game, man. Denver against Kansas City, that's always big. And Denver does have the Chargers to finish off the season, and that's big because that's going to be potentially, the clincher. Denver basically controls their own destiny. Like, as long as they beat the Chargers, regardless of what else happens, and that's at home for Denver, regardless of what else happens, Denver will win the division in that case. So, again, I don't think this game means as much to Denver here against the Jags. The Jags are still kind of in this cluster in the AFC South with Houston right behind them. Jags coming off an easy game against the Jets, so they had an easier time of it last week. Going back out on the road here. They have Indy next, but that's a lot less of a look ahead now that Indy's dropped off and Daniel Jones is gone. Indy is not going to make the playoffs at this point. Jags already beat them once, so I expect the Jags to be focused here. I would take the points with the Jags in that one. And again, I think you're getting a little bit of line value here. I think Denver should probably be closer to like a 1 to 2 point favorite in this game, man, based on like the power ratings guys and what they have there. We also got Steelers-Lions. The Lions are up from a 6-point favorite to a 7-point favorite here. Highest total on the board, I believe, at 52. Lions could definitely score. Steelers don't have a very good defense, even though they have that name recognition where you think they have a good defense. But no, they do not. 89% of tickets, 90% of the cash on the Lions. Now, the Steelers, they looked good on Monday night, but the public is still coming in on the Lions. The public likes the Lions more. The Lions do need this game more. And, I talk about how when a team needs the game more, they tend to be a little bit overvalued in the market, and I don't like laying points when a team needs the game like that because it's like more of a pressure situation, and you're not really getting line value on it. So I'm not really sure that I want to lay the points of the Lions here, but the Steelers, their season literally comes down to the Baltimore game. Like, even if the Steelers lose this game and lose to Cleveland next week, all they have to do is beat Baltimore, and they still win the division and get in. And these teams are not going to be wild cards, Pittsburgh or Baltimore. One of these teams is going to win the division and get into the playoffs, and the other team is going to be out. And for Pittsburgh, again, all they have to do is beat Baltimore at home in the final week, and they're in. That's it. So even if Pittsburgh loses both games, falls to 8-8, and Baltimore jumps up to 9-7, Pittsburgh beating Baltimore would have the tiebreaker because they already beat Baltimore once. So they would retie them, have the tiebreaker, and get in. So Pittsburgh actually doesn't even need this game. They're on a short week, going on the road again, second road game in 3 weeks. They looked good on Monday night, but Miami looked bad. And again, Detroit needs this game because they have to get a wild card at this point. Detroit does, so they really need this game more. Detroit is coming off a tough game, though, against the Rams. Remember, they had to go out to the Pacific Coast, only lost by 7. They were definitely fighting in that game. They had the lead in that game. I think at halftime, they might have even had the lead there. So that was a tough game, so I don't really love the spot that Detroit is in here. They finished with Minnesota and Chicago, which are big because they're divisional games. But again, Detroit can't win the division at this point, so they got to get the wild card, man. So every game does matter to them. So, I mean, gun to my head, I probably would have to still lean to Detroit in this one. I don't love it, though, for all the reasons I just said. And they're also really, really public. I want to see what the market winds up looking like here. But also the other thing is we got the Dan Campbell bounce back situation working for us. You've seen Detroit. Look at them alternating wins and losses, man. So Detroit, every time they've lost a game, they bounced back and won in the next one. And I believe they covered every single time, too. Actually, no, they didn't cover against the Giants. My mistake. They covered all but that game against the Giants, though. And that was a bad spot. I mean, they were looking ahead to the Thanksgiving game. So we know the Lions, they bounce back really well off of losses. So there is that working in Detroit's favor there. And then we have maybe the ugliest game of all, Raiders-Texans. where the Texans are a 14-point favorite in a game that only has a total of 38.5. I know I faded the Texans as a double-digit favorite last week, but I think you got to do it again here if you're going to play the game. I don't want to play it at all, obviously, but, I mean, the Texans, I mean, they're more of a defensive-minded team. Low total here, and you're telling me they got to win by 2 touchdowns? I know it's the Raiders. I know how bad they've looked, but asking the Texans to win by a margin like that is just ridiculous. And the Texans, 95% of tickets, 91% of the cash on them. Public loves Houston now because they keep winning. Houston, believe it or not, they're sitting at 9-5, and they actually started the season 0-3. And Houston, since then, has gone 9-2. And they've had some games without C.J. Stroud in here, too. They just massacred Arizona last week. Arizona, they just can't get it right. And I'm still going to do it again this week and go back to Arizona. Spoiler. I'm a glutton for punishment, man. But Houston, I just don't see it, man. And they have bigger games remaining, going to the Chargers, and then they got Indy to finish this off. And the Chargers game might be big because Houston might have to get one of the last wild cards here, man. And then Indy, is still a big divisional matchup, especially if Indy's kind of hanging around there, if they manage to hang around. So, yeah, this game, it's not a game that I think Houston's really going to show up for. And the Raiders are in that spot that I talked about. We have 2 teams that got shut out last week. The Raiders are one of them. They lost 31-0 to Philly. Now, it is going to be their 3rd road game in 4 weeks, so I don't love that. I'm not going to give this out as a play or anything, but you got to think they're going to show up for something, man, for pride, at least after getting shut out. Again, teams have covered every single time this year coming off a shutout, and there is a trend that goes back years in the NFL where it is a positive trend. I think it's something like it's on like a 37-15 against the spread run to play on the team that got shut out the previous week. It seems like we've had more of them this year than usual, though, but the Raiders are in that spot. And by the way, Geno Smith should be back for this game. Kenny Pickett was miserable last week. I think the Raiders had like 70-something yards of total offense, but you don't have to worry about Kenny Pickett anymore, man. At least Geno Smith will be back. I know they haven't been great with him either, but he's got to be an upgrade from Kenny Pickett, man. I know I talk about reverse injured player spot when the quarterback comes back, but I mean, he can't possibly be worse than what happened last week, so probably good that Geno Smith is back. I would take the points with the Raiders if you force me to give you a pick on that one, but I'm not going to play it. Kraken won. Woo! Yeah, 6-0 day, baby. You got to love it. I kind of wish I played Miami, to be honest. I kind of wish I gave out Miami in football. With that, that was unbelievably low-scoring game, dude. But I was right about 2 out of 3 of the spread plays in college football, so I'm not sad about that. And we have Sunday dedicated to NFL, so we don't have to worry about college football again for a little while here. But yeah, so there was that. I picked Miami straight up in my straight up pools there as well. So there you go. Okay. Now, we got best bets here now, right? Or, well, actually, no. I'm talking about the night games first. Patriots-Ravens. This is a game where the Patriots are a public underdog, man. And I warn about public underdogs. You want to fade them more often than not. You basically either want to fade them or just stay away. Because a public underdog basically means that you're fading the public and you're playing a team that's good. In this case, the Ravens. Yeah, I consider them to be a good team. Patriots, 72% of tickets, only 64% of the cash on them, but the public is still coming in on them thinking the Patriots had won 10 games in a row, man, and they almost beat Buffalo. They looked really good in that game against Buffalo, right? They almost won the game again, had a 21-0 lead. Like, the public's going to think there's no way the Patriots are going to lose 2 games in a row, especially they have the way better record than the Ravens, and the public is saying, oh, I'm getting points now with the Patriots. It looks really easy to take the Patriots here, man, but I would not do it. I would lay it with the Ravens here if I was going to play it. Now, the problem is this line is moving way up, man, and it was going to be 1 prior to last week, which seems bizarre to me because why would the look ahead have been 1, and then why is it now 3 just based on the Ravens shutting out a Bengals team that can't play any defense? It doesn't make any sense because the Patriots looked really good in defeat last week, so I don't know why the line has moved this much, but I would still lay it if you're getting 3 or less with the Ravens here, but it is headed towards 3.5, and I would definitely not really want to lay the hook there. I mean, 3 is a key number there. I do think Baltimore will get the win here. The game doesn't mean as much to New England. New England, I mean, they already have some padding here. I mean, yeah, they want to win the division, sure, but they're sitting really pretty. I mean, they only need one more win to clinch a playoff spot, but you know they're going to do that. I mean, they play the Jets in Miami next, so probably they won't lose either of those games. So, but this game, I mean, I think this is this is one of the classic hangover spots, man. I mean, you're talking about a New England team that had not lost since week 3 of the season. They had 10 wins in a row, had their bye, and then they finally lost last week in a huge game, a huge divisional game against Buffalo. I think this has hangover spot written all over it, man. Again, like, they're not used to losing like this. They had that huge game, heartbreaking way to lose it when they had Buffalo completely on the ropes. It was that game where everybody was tweeting out, just like they were tweeting out with Oklahoma last night. Everybody's jumping the gun and tweeting out, just, oh, this Patriots team is for real. Stop making fun of them, whatever. This is a joke. Yeah, like, don't count your chickens before they hatch, man. And then Buffalo winds up winning the game. That is a brutal way for New England to lose that game. Baltimore also needs the game more because, unlike Pittsburgh, Baltimore is actually behind them in the standings, so Baltimore cannot afford to lose both games here and then still beat Pittsburgh, I don't believe. I think if Baltimore loses both games and Pittsburgh wins both of their games, probably not going to happen, though, because I don't think Pittsburgh is going to beat the Lions. Baltimore will know, though, so that is one problem, I guess. Like, Baltimore will be scoreboard watching probably. Maybe Harbaugh will tell them not to watch the scoreboard, man. But if Baltimore sees that Pittsburgh Lions should be Monday night this week, to be honest, because if Baltimore sees that Pittsburgh loses, then Baltimore actually could get into a situation potentially where all they got to do is win the game against Pittsburgh, and then they'll make the playoffs. But that is a road game, though, so Baltimore, I mean, it's a little bit more difficult of an ask to ask them to win on the road there, though. So I think Baltimore, they're going to be more focused here, man, especially because they have to face Green Bay next on the road. And we don't know what Jordan Love's situation is going to be because he exited the game today with a concussion, so he might come back. Like, he's going to have to clear concussion protocol, but there is the chance that Love is back next week. It wasn't one of those injuries where it's like definitive that he's going to be out for multiple games at this point. So Baltimore, this is their final home game, so I think they know they kind of got to win this game, but I think that's probably why the line is 3, though, because it's almost a kind of a must-win for the Ravens at this point, so you're laying maybe a few too many points here, but I do like the situation for Baltimore a lot more. Beating Cincinnati is just kind of whatever at this point. Cincinnati's not good this year, but also, again, that final home game, a team usually does kind of step it up a little bit for their final home game, like give the fans something, although I think that's more of a phenomenon for like bad teams, though. But if I was going to play it, I would lay it with Baltimore, but I am staying away. You played Miami, hell yeah, thank you, sir. Some of my picks weren't great, but yeah, I mean, this is why, like, I'm giving you exactly, like, these are the bets, like, nothing more, nothing less, you know what I mean? Like, I'm giving you opinions on some of these other games, so yeah, I mean, the opinions that I give out, like, sure, if you want to, like, have some fun with it, put some money on those. Yeah, I mean, but I mean, if you really want to, like, we're focusing on, like, trying to profit here. And, I'm recommending, like, only for, like, those substantial amounts of money, only doing exactly what I'm saying and playing those particular games there. But yes, we're on fire right now, man. Like, I feel like I might be like the best handicapper in the world over the last like 3 months, man. I've done this for like almost 19 years now, whatever. I've had some runs that have been really, really good, but I don't think I can remember a run that's been this good for this extended a period of time. Like, how many losing days do I have since like the beginning of September? Like, I think you might be able to count them on one hand. It's not that many. It might be a little bit more than that, but I think it's fewer than 10. It's crazy, dude. Again, I think 13 winning days in a row here as well, though some of them have been really small. And one of them the other day relied on you sprinkling on the money line to get it there on the Pelicans. But yeah, thank you, sir. I want to keep it going, man. I mean, there's going to be like a bad downswing again at some point, you know. I mean, it happens. Like, because skill gets you to a certain point here, but, you know, there is also luck involved here. All right, and we'll talk about the Monday night game as well, which I'll talk about again on Monday. I don't have a strong feel for this one at all, but it is 49ers Colts. Niners are up from 5.5 to 6. They're going to be public, and they're laying points on the road. And, you know, usually I look for these home dogs in prime time, but this one I'm not so sure. 72% of tickets, 74% of the cash on the Niners. Niners are going to be public, but it's possible that the money is also going to be coming in on the Niners. Niners had a really easy game against Tennessee last week. And yeah, they're playing a second road game in 3 weeks, but I mean, I don't think they're going to be that fatigued or anything like that coming into this one. The Niners, I mean, they are still playing for something, whereas I guess Indy, you know, technically Indy, I guess, is not total. I don't think they're completely eliminated yet, but I mean, they're really completely on the ropes here, man, without Daniel Jones now. And they had their big game last week. They had to go to the Pacific Coast. They played 2 straight road games, and they flew cross-country to do it, and now they're coming back again. So last 2 weeks, they had to fly from Jacksonville out to Seattle, and then Seattle now back to Indy here. And remember, that was the injured player spot last week where Indy stepped up their game big time with Phillip Rivers in there, and they almost pulled off an upset as double-digit dogs in that one. So they might have emptied the tank, man. I don't know what they're going to have left here, although I do talk about how when a team isn't going anywhere, they do show up for primetime games, though, so they may still do that. But second game, you know, after the first game, you know, the big emotional high with Rivers coming back, whatever. Second game off of that, I don't really love it, man. I mean, I'm kind of leaning towards the Niners in this one. But we'll have to wait and see what the market looks like and whatever. It's not one that I love at all, really. But I don't know. That's just kind of that was kind of my gut instinct on that one, at least. What I do love is my plays I'm going to give out here. And by the way, if I was going to add one more play, which will probably be the last one that makes my pick 5, which I lost on the fucking Seahawks because we had 1.5 in the contest that I'm in. But if I was going to add one more, it would be the Browns plus the points. Don't like the spot for the Bills at all. Like I said, it's a sandwich spot. But let's do it, man. Best bets. And these are going to be ugly. Again, you know how I do this. Like, all 3 of these are pretty ugly. First one up, you know, this is going to be really ugly, but the money is agreeing with me on this one. We're going to be on the New York Giants, and I'm going to say wait on this one. It's at 2.5 right now, but I think you're going to be able to get 3. I mean, it looks like the Vikings are up to 2.5 with juice here. Before last week, it was going to be 1.5, so you're going to be getting some value, especially if it hits 3. You're getting that key number. I would, just wait. I mean, I think the 3s are going to be up there soon, especially when the public starts betting this coming into tomorrow. I think you're going to be able to find a 3. If I find one, I'm going to put it in the show notes here and make it 3. 66% of tickets on the Vikings, 63% of the cash coming back on the Giants side, though. I would probably still play the Giants at 2.5, but I'm almost positive you're going to get the 3. So there's no reason to not wait, like right up until game time. If you can't find it before then, you know what I mean? I think you will find it. But this spot for the Vikings is awful, dude. Like, the Vikings, I mean, they're not going anywhere. And you know, we talk about it. Like, what games does a team get up for when they're a dead team on the season? Yeah, they get up for divisional games and primetime games. Well, what did Minnesota just do last week? Yeah, they played in a primetime game, and they upset the Dallas Cowboys on the road on Sunday night, and everybody saw it. So that was a huge upset win for Minnesota. Now they're playing a second straight road game, and it's also a 4th road game in the last 5 weeks, I believe, which is brutal. I mean, that is a brutal amount of travel, dude. Their bye was a lot earlier. Look at this travel they did. Thursday night, they had to go out to the Pacific Coast to L.A., to the Chargers. They came back, and they had to play they had to play in Detroit. Oh, no, wait. No. That was before that. So hold on. That was going back to October 23rd. So they've actually, this is going to be a 6th road game in 9 weeks as well. But more recently, though, the more recent ones, they were at Green Bay. Then they had to go out to the Pacific Coast and play Seattle. Then they came home for a game against Washington. Then they went down to Dallas. And now they're going East Coast early start time to the Giants. I don't think they're going to show up, man. And look at what they have next. They have a quick turnaround time, and they play on Christmas against the Lions. And what did I just say? A dead team. What type of game are they going to get up for? Divisional game where they can play spoiler especially. That qualifies for that game against the Lions. Also, isolated game that's going to be on national TV. In this case, Netflix. That also qualifies. It's a huge Christmas game. So this is a massive sandwich spot that Minnesota's in. And then after that, their final game is at home against Green Bay, which is another big game where they can also play divisional spoilers. So this is absolutely the flat spot in their schedule, man. Minnesota, horrible, horrible spot for them. And for the Giants, you got to think they're going to show up here, man. Giants have lost 8 games in a row. Nobody's going to want them at all. Second straight game at home after coming out of the bye. You got to think they're going to show up here, man. Last week, they were in a decent spot, but I did like Washington last week. I thought Washington was also in a pretty good spot last week. The Giants did lose at home, but I think they're going to show up, man. This Giants team, they're going to be playing for Jackson Dart, playing out the stretch here. Yeah, I like the Giants, especially if they're getting points at home. Minnesota's in a horrific spot. So, yeah, I see the Giants coming to play in this one, trying to salvage something on the season. Teams don't really tank, dude, especially with the Giants. I mean, they have their QB in Dart. They're not going to be tanking for a quarterback or anything like that. So they're going to be trying to win some games down the stretch. Giants, most of their losses have been fairly close as well. So they've been pretty competitive, more so than what their record would let on. So it looks way too easy to also fade the Giants here. Like, you're almost like asking just to win the game, like laying 2.5 maybe with the Vikings. Yeah, we'll take the Giants. And again, I think you'll be able to get 3 on that. Yes, sir. All right. Next up, what's the next one? This one is probably the most palatable, which is really saying something, because this one is pretty ugly. We're going to be on the Dallas Cowboys -1.5. I saw 1.5 out there at, I think it might have been at Teasers in Mass. Mostly it's 2 out there, but hopefully there's not that much of a difference between 1.5 and 2. You could go money line if you want to on this too, but we're going to go with the Dallas Cowboys here, man. I think this is going to be the last hurrah for the Cowboys, or at least maybe one of them. Probably the last one, actually. I'll show you their schedule in a minute, but we're going to fade the Chargers, and absolutely nobody is going to play the Cowboys here, man. 73% of tickets, 86% of the cash on the Chargers. Chargers have the better record. Everybody saw what the Chargers did the last couple of weeks, man, so we're going to fade that sentiment. I mean, I talk about these road out-of-conference games here that don't mean as much, because when it comes down to tiebreakers, it doesn't mean as much. So for the Chargers, that's what they're doing here. This game doesn't mean as much to them. Look at what the Chargers just did the last 2 weeks. They just beat each of the last 2 Super Bowl teams and each of the last 2 Super Bowl winners as well, the winners of the last 3 Super Bowls. They beat the Eagles in a primetime game where, by the way, the Chargers kind of got lucky in that one, man. The Eagles outgained them in the game, and the Eagles threw that game away. So the Chargers, misleading win, big win still on a Monday night game. And then what did they do last week? They went into Arrowhead, and they beat the Chiefs. And I know Mahomes went down in the game, but that was a huge win, man. That was a season sweep for the Chargers against the Chiefs, and they eliminated the Chiefs from the playoffs. There's nothing more satisfying than that, man. Eliminating the team that had a stranglehold on the division for like 5-6 years in a row. Monster win for the Chargers. And if you watched any of that game, it was a hugely like physical game. I think the Chargers are going to be real beat up coming off of that second straight road game, and they played Dallas. And then, oh yeah, by the way, look who the Chargers have remaining on their schedule. Next week, they play Houston, which, by the way, not only is Houston good and looking for a playoff berth here, but if you remember, because it was one of my wins that I gave out on the show last year, Houston is the team that eliminated the Chargers from the playoffs last year. So that is playoff revenge for the Chargers. They lost at Houston, got knocked out of the playoffs on it, and that was one of my plays that I gave out in the first round of the playoffs last year. So the Chargers have had this game circled, man. Whenever you play the team who ended your season last year, you got that game circled. So that is massive. And then they play at Denver to finish the season, which is another huge game, even though pretty much you got to think Denver's got this division wrapped up at this point. The Chargers, pretty likely they're going to be a wild card, but that Houston game could mean something for the wild card too. And then they're going to play Denver again in the final week. Again, a huge game. So, yeah, this Chargers team, and in the Chargers, they did beat Denver the first time, but still, this is like the obvious flat spot left for the Chargers. This is a sandwich spot for sure. For Dallas, they're 4-2-1 at home. They've been better at home in Jerry World. But as I mentioned with the Minnesota handicap, so that Dallas-Minnesota game has kind of given us two plays here this week. Everybody saw Dallas lose on Sunday night, man, and you know me. I like to jump on the teams that look bad in primetime, and Dallas looked bad. They lost as a favorite, and that almost eliminated them from the playoffs, but they're not technically eliminated yet. So I think Dallas might be able to play looser now that basically they're in a situation where they're not actually eliminated, so it's not actually the dream crusher, but they need a lot of help to get into the playoffs. So I think maybe they can just play with no pressure on them here. And it's their final home game of the season, so you've got to think they're going to want to at least give the fans something. And look who they have remaining. I know it's two divisional games, but it's Washington and the Giants. Are they really going to get up for those two games? And they beat both of those teams already this season. So I don't really see those games being really that important to them, man. I think they're going to show up for this one. And they're staying at home as well. You're getting a price that's basically just pick the winner. Yeah, the public's going to be all over the Chargers here, man. But I think the Cowboys get it done. I think they win. So we're going to go with the Cowboys in that game. -1.5. There you go. It might be a... yeah, I mean, there might be juice, though, right? You got to make sure that it's not juice. The one that I found was actually reduced juice, believe it or not, on Caesars. So maybe you can find something. FanDuel in Massachusetts did not have the 1.5, though. D's, no, what's up, man? Drake London versus Gainwell. Let me check. I'm probably going to lean towards Gainwell, though. I don't know. Do we know if Jalen Warren is playing? Is that his name, Warren? Do we know if he's playing or not for the Steelers? One problem with playing a Steeler running back, though, is that they're probably going to be losing the game. So hold on, let me see. But Drake London, is he playing? Because he's been hurt as well. So I don't know. I kind of hesitate, to jump on a guy who's coming back from an injury like that. But hold on, let me see. I'm going to look right now. I'm going to look at some numbers here real quick. I don't know if I want to give away all my secrets, though. Is this a PPR, by the way? I kind of assume at this point that it is, but hold on, let me look. Let's see. Drake London, where are you, man? Gainwell looks like an okay play, especially if you're talking about a flex. But let me see. I actually have Gainwell on my team, and I actually have him on my bench, believe it or not, even though my team is basically completely fucked. But I just have a lot of decent running backs on my team, so that's basically why. Where the fuck is London? Let me see. I don't even see London on this sheet. He's got to be on here somewhere, though. Are we sure London's playing? I mean, right now I'd probably say Gainwell, but at least with Gainwell, he's kind of guaranteed more touches at the very least if he's going to get involved here because he's a running back. So I tend to like running backs a little bit more because they get guaranteed touches, basically. Oh, no, here's London. Actually, my mistake. I would say play London, actually. My mistake. London has a better projection here. I see him. My mistake. Yeah, so I would go London in that one, even though usually I do like to go with the running backs. But, yeah, I would go London in that one. And speaking of the Drake London game, final best bet. I know we're going back to the team that's been hurting me, the abuser, but we're going to take the Arizona Cardinals +3. You can find 3 with about I saw it at -112 out there on the +3. I think you'll probably get the +3, -110 by game time. I think the public is probably going to be on the Falcons here, but we're going to fade the Falcons. We're going to take Arizona in this one. I know Arizona was bad to me the last 2 times I gave them out. Last week especially, they got bombed. But we're still talking about a Cardinals team that 7 of their losses have been by 4 or fewer points, man. So I think if the line is 2.5, the Cardinals also make a good teaser, teasing them up to 8.5. Total is a little bit high, though, at 48.5. By the way, the Lions, if that game gets to 7.5, the Lions tease down to 1.5. They make a really good teaser leg as well. And then I would say the Giants also make a really good one if you see the 2.5 still out there. Once it gets to 3, you can't really effectively tease it with a Stanford Wong anymore. But the Giants up to the plus 8.5 make a good teaser leg as well. Just throwing that out there for the teasers, because I do give out teasers now on the show real quick. But yes, Arizona, I believe you're going to get a 3 on this if you don't see it already. 52% of tickets, 55% of the cash on the Falcons, but the public is not going to be on the Cardinals here, man. And this is a spot where I think you got to fade Atlanta in this one, man. And as I said, the Cardinals, most of their losses have been close, and a couple of the not close losses have been pretty misleading as well. So I like Arizona to get this thing done in this one, man, finally. And the other Arizona loss that we had was bullshit. The one against Jacksonville by 0.5 point, just because we didn't find the 3 on them. So that was the other one. And Arizona did get us a win earlier in the season, by the way, if you remember. At the Colts, we got a win with Arizona on the cover there. They almost won that game outright. Now, Atlanta, they're in a horrible spot, dude. Yeah, they have extra time off, but look at what they just did. They beat Tampa Bay in that game where I was talking about how they were down 14 late in the game, and they had a massive game. Kirk Cousins basically had like a legacy game, 373 passing yards. I love to see it because I like Cousins, but I don't think he's going to do it again here, man. Pitts had an insane game in that one as well. Monster game for Atlanta, winning at Tampa. And again, what do I always say? What have I been saying? When a team is dead on the season like Atlanta is, what are the games they get up for? Primetime games and games where they can play division spoiler. Well, both were the case in that game against Tampa Bay because that was a Thursday night primetime game, and against a divisional team they might be able to spoil. So that was a huge game for them. Now they got to turn around, and they're playing at Arizona. Not only is it a second straight road game, but it's a 4th road game in 5 weeks. Brutal. And oh yeah, what do they have up next? Oh, yeah, they play Monday night against the Rams. Primetime game. So, again, a team that's dead like Atlanta, that's one of the remaining games they'll show up for, man. So, I think this is a bad spot, having to go out to Arizona. I don't see them putting a lot of focus into this one. Basically, this is a sandwich spot. And for Arizona, they're coming off that ugly loss to Houston. This is their final home game of the season, man. So, I think they will show up for it. Again, a team that's dead on the season, I think one of the other reasons they might show up is last home game of the season. Try to give your fans something. You know what I mean? I mean, they've lost so many games in a row. You know me, I love playing on these teams that have lost tons of games in a row. Why not? We got 2 teams this week out of my 3 plays tomorrow that are on 6+ game losing streaks, baby. The Cardinals and the Giants. Let's go. I told you it was ugly, but that's the play. Those are the plays there, man. That's going to do it. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Once again, the best bets one more time for tomorrow. We're going to be on the New York Giants plus, I would say you're going to find a 3 on it by tomorrow. I'm almost positive. So New York Giants plus 3. I would still do it at 2.5, but obviously wait to get that best number. I'm pretty sure you'll get it. Dallas minus the 1.5 or -2 or money line. We're not going to get screwed on the 1.5 again this time. Come on, man. Like with Seattle. It's not going to happen again. I am pissed. I should have just gone money line there, but whatever. And then we're going to be on Arizona plus 3. You can already get that one at plus 3, paying slightly more for it. But I think paying up to minus 115 to get it is fine, but you don't have to do it. I would wait still because I think you'll get the 3 at minus 110 at some point probably. If not, then grab it at upwards of about minus 115. I think you'll find it. Those are the 3 plays. Thank you, sir. Let's continue. We've had a good NFL season, so let's continue doing it. College basketball has been unbelievably good, dude. I need it after March was so bad. This feels like 2 years ago. There was like a January into February where I was like getting every single college basketball play right. I'm like, holy fuck. Like this feels like that right now. I don't want to jinx it, but we're way up on college basketball right now, man. And of course, there is the potential for it to go wrong because it's very high volume. But even though I'm very selective with it, it's just there are so many games and I handicap them all. So I find that many spots. You know what I mean? Let's do it. I'll be back in the morning. There'll be some college basketball, I assume, and some NHL and NBA, but probably a small board tomorrow. So obviously the focus is mostly NFL. I'll be back. We're going to kick off the Christmas week, baby. It's Christmas week. Holy crap. So safe travels, everybody, if people are starting to travel and whatever. I'll be back. I'm still going to be doing the show, I think, every morning because my festivities are mostly going to be things at night. So, all right. That's going to do it. I'll be back in the morning. Learn to Toad on Twitter. I got subscriptions now and there. Haven't put out any content yet, but I'm going to. Learn to Toad on Instagram where I have the short form betting stuff. Obviously, like, subscribe, give me replies here. Boost this channel, man. Tell everybody how hot I am, both appearance-wise and with my plays. Let's boost this thing. I'm on audio as well. Spotify, Apple, give me a good review over there. The listens help me because I have the ads on there. I know you got to listen to the ads, but you can help me out by just letting it play in the background, man. So, yeah, you can do that. And then we got Covered in Uke is my ukulele channel on YouTube. You can check that out. Uke covers, we're still doing them. Some of them might be behind the subscription wall on Twitter now, though, if you want them on the Twitter feed. I'll figure out what I'm going to do as far as putting them on YouTube, whatever. I want to get, I have a backlog. I have all my, old Uke covers from the last, 3-4 years. They're all here on the phone, man. So I'm totally disorganized, and a lot of them are deleted from Twitter because I had auto delete on for a long time. So I got to figure out what I want to do with those. I got to organize them somehow. So there is that, and then patreon.com/learntotode. You can get some bonus Uke stuff there, a Spotify feed, and requests. I know, Charles, I got to look again, see if you requested any Christmas ones or whatever. I'm going to try to get to the other ones that you gave me, but it'll be a bit, and then I'm going to try to do them. And then Losercast. Check out Losercast, the rotating comedy panel show, where I'm on, at least on the Tuesday versions of it. Not this week, though. This week we might skip the show, but I don't think I can do it on Tuesday anyway. But go check that out. So, yeah, I think that's it for now. And then the Giants G-Spot podcast. I'll be talking to Ben. We'll figure it out. I mean, we're getting into the holidays now, so I don't know what we want to do with it. But I have a play on the Giants this week, though, man. And it's been sparing with those. I think the only other time I gave out the play on the Giants, I think, was the Dart debut, right, where they beat the Chargers. That might have been – oh, no, I had them against the Packers. I had them as well, and they covered because I found the hook on that one. They covered that one as well. So hopefully the Giants continue to be good to us. All right, thank you. No Christmas ones. Time is limited, though, man, and I'm going to be doing Christmas stuff with family, so I don't have that much time. I might have to do it after Christmas, but we'll figure something out. That's going to do it. Thanks, guys. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace.